Good afternoon and welcome to the latest episode of the Jimbros podcast with myself and Bryn. And we've got Tate with us today,
Yo, yo.
but we're missing little Josh.
What are you laughing at?
You looking like Alibaba.
I am due a haircut.
So today we're going to talk about a topic that's popped up in the news recently, which is national service, proposed national service. Is it a good or a bad thing? And we've had a little chat about it away from the podcast and about our ideas and stuff like that. So we thought we'd have a little discussion, give our opinions and our views on the subject, and then hopefully you guys will interact and give us your thoughts on it. So, me personally, I think it's a good thing. I think that if you're coming out of school, 16-year-old, and you're not quite sure what you want to do, and you're not going into further education, you're not going into an apprenticeship, or you're not going into full-time work, that your option should be to go and join the military. For the simple fact that I believe that what people will get out of it, it's not just about joining the military, it's about what you will learn and the life skills that you will pick up by being in that environment, which is then going to, in 2 or 3 years' time, put you out into the world, a more rounded individual with better life skills than you had at 16. So part and parcel of obviously being in the military, and again, correct me, I've never been in the military, so correct me if you're wrong, these guys are going to be learning about like real world skills. So they're going to be learn how to take care of themselves, iron, wash. I know obviously get their meals and that cooked for them. There's opportunities there to go and learn different trades. I know one of my friends was a mechanic, an engineer. You can go into admin roles. You can go into IT. There's lots of various different routes you can go into, which again, if you're unsure of what you want to do, what are your other options? Coming out of school and you're not going into any of the three that they mentioned, what are your other options? What are you going to do? Sit at home and play Xbox all day? Claim on benefits? Well, no. I think what should happen is you go into national service. You're going to get paid. You're going to contribute into the system, which then means if you come out of the military and you can't find a job, or you've got a period of time where then you are entitled to claim because you paid something into it, rather than coming straight out of school, sitting around playing Xbox, riding around on your e-scooter, smoking your vape. You're not getting any life skills. I mean, we've had it with work experience people. Some of the younger generation are coming in to do work experience, coming into the gym, and they don't know how to mop. They don't know how to hoover. They don't know how to clean. They don't know how to, they've got no real world applications because they're so used to being at home and having their parents kind of do everything for them that they've got no real world skills. So how's that person going to go on if they go into work? Because again, a lot of, we've already covered this on a one like Generation Muppet. Our workplace is becoming a bit more mollycoddled now. So they're taking these people and saying, okay, well, we need staff and we'll just mold them and we'll teach them how to do this. Whereas they've got an option to go into it. Like I knew how to stand on my own 2 feet. I was taught to iron, I could cook, I could clean. We had to do chores at home to help my parents out because they had to work. So when it came to me having my own place and my own job, I already had real world skills. I had the job since I was 14 and a half. I was already dealing with adults. I could communicate with people on all levels. I had a lot of skills that made me more employable than someone that's just come out of school who's got no work experience, no skills or anything. So that's my kind of take on it. I think it would be a good option, if done the right way, a good option for people to have that's going to bring them out better qualified and more suited to take on everyday life. What do you think?
Yeah, so I think what you've done there is come up with sort of the best points of it.
An ideal scenario.
An ideal scenario that potentially that's how it could run. But being in the know with how the government constantly do things, doing the military beyond, Nothing's ever thought out right. Nothing's ever pushed out right. Policies are always wrong. You know, these people that are making these policies are so far out of touch with society in general. You know, you're sort of saying about life skills and stuff like that. Now, the way the military has always been broke down to me is, not so much now, but definitely 10 years ago, was, you know, you're intelligent, sort of your academics, you're rich. They were officers. That was it. You know, spoon-fed your whole life. And then you sort of, your low levels, your non-commissioned people that are coming in, your private soldiers that are then going lance corporal, corporal, sergeant, so on. These are the ones that need the basic life skills. These are the ones that have come from broken homes, council estates, you know, mum and dad have got jobs, look after yourself all day, go to school, that's it, you know what I mean? Free roaming people. Now, if you're going to say to me, join national service, learn how to shave, you know, these are basics that your parents should be teaching you anyway. So I think the main thing straight away that it highlights that you need national service is how we're failing as a society in general. Now, that should be put on parents straight away.
Yeah.
You know, there should be pride there. Why does my child not know how to shave? Why does my child not know that it smells and it needs to put deodorant on? Why does, you know, potentially you're a young woman, why does my child not know that she needs, you know, tampons or sanitary towels? All these little basic things that it literally hurts your brain to think, how did these kids not know? How have they not been shown this sort of stuff? Now, for me, I don't know how this national service is going to work. I know there's been little bits and bobs in articles put out. The main thing that's been put out to me is straight away, first and foremost, it won't be mandatory. So you do not have to do that for people that don't know what mandatory is. There's no law that will be written to say to do it. It's not punishable to not do it. They're basically coming out as a campaign driver and saying, look, we're going to bring national service back. They always do this sort of thing. But it's been talked about for years. Now, national service hasn't been mandatory in the UK since 1957, obviously post-World War II, 1944. Now, look at what this nation was post-World War II. Granted, we've been smashed. Granted, things weren't well, you know, people weren't living luxury lives. Houses had been destroyed. People were living in poverty massively. But there was a bit of camaraderie there. There was a bit of...
People came together to help each other out. Communities existed.
Exactly, yeah. And that's the problem you've got today. It seems because the country's not had hardship for so long, so many people forget what it's like. You know, if you break down your lives, you've got running water, you've got food, you've got money, you know, can I have £10 to go to the shop, blah, 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 blah. All these things that kids 50 years ago, it was unheard of. You know, £10 would get you your shopping for the week. So to now say, for a prime minister that's, let's say straight away, not even been elected, because he hasn't, he's been elected by the Tories internally, but at the end of the day, he lost an election against his counterpart. She massively fucked it up. And then obviously it's just been thrown to him.
Someone else in
place, and he's doing a shite job as well. So he's obviously thrown this out here and pitched it, and everyone in their heads has been ignorant and gone, yes, national service, that'll sort everything out. But national service is not going to be what you think it is, because one, it's not mandatory. Two, it's not going to be ruthless, rigorous training like it was
the
10,
military,
15 years ago.
We discussed that. The military is not like that anymore.
And it never will be again, because the problem you've got is, and it hurts me to say, but there's especially at low level, there's no men anymore. And what I mean by that is there's now people that are in positions in the army, and I've seen it for myself leaving in the last 2 years. There's infanteers. We're the, you know, the fucking sharp end of the bayonet. You know, we're the people that go in and fuck shit up.
Yeah.
You know, there's people now in command positions that are scared to shout at people, because the only thing they're looking at now is, I'm 4 years off my pension. All they're looking at now is, can I get another rank? Can I get more money for my family? That's not how the army should be. The army should be, if I fuck up, he's going to fuck me up. And unfortunately, some people can say, well, that's ruthless. Right, but you weren't saying that when we were fucking jumping out of trenches and charging positions.
Yeah,
where do you?
If we went to war, for example,
Yeah.
do you think our enemy is going to give a crap that you don't like being shouted at?
Yeah,
No, they're going to shout at
Yeah.
you. They're going to shoot you.
Yeah.
They're going to try and kill you.
100%.
So you need to. There needs to be that physical and mental toughness.
Exactly.
Into it.
Exactly. And
so
that's-
I was reading an article the other day and like tell me obviously doing research for the podcast.
Yeah.
And it was saying that one of the reasons why national service has never really been back and we've never really strengthened our armed forces is because the powers that be believe that the next world war won't be fought on a battlefield. That's what they're saying. So we don't need soldiers.
Yeah.
We don't need grunts.
Yeah.
We don't need infantry.
Yeah.
Because the next world war is all going to be drones,
Yeah.
planes, attacks, that kind of thing. And I was thinking, okay, so that's all well and good. But you need people to operate these things.
Yeah.
You also, if a battleship decides to come into our waters and they decide to send actual troops in because they want to disrupt a certain area, then you need to have an opposing force. So if we haven't got enough soldiers, how are we going to defend our own land?
Yeah.
How are we going to fight back?
Yeah.
Because if they're sending soldiers, like our society is a little bit soft in general.
That's definitely an understatement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 18-year-old Kyle, who's never had experienced any hardship in his life, how is he going to fare against, let's just say like a Russian, his Russian counterpart, who at 16 went into the army and has been trained to be a soldier, doesn't care if he gets shouted at, doesn't care if he gets shot at. You know, they've been bred to be mentally and physically tough. How is they going to? They're going to just steamroll him.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why they were saying that they'd not bolstered our armed service, because they believe that the next war's a war's a war. Like if modern technology can be taken out with an EMP, can't it? So anything that's electronically, an EMP can take it out.
Yeah.
So then what you're left with, so if an EMP goes off, what you're left to fight with, you can't EMP a human being.
Yeah, you're always
going to need
you always
people.
need boots on the ground.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. They, you know, you can have as many of these, you know, AI systems and digital systems and stuff like that. But the facts are, if you, for example, America, blow shit up, blow everything up.
Yeah.
Well, then what? Well, you still have to go in and check everywhere. You still have to go in and sort.
They have a massive armed force. They still
I understand. So our armed forces now have always been seen as more of a specialist force. Now, that's how I see that they get used around the world. Because for, I don't know, you go to somewhere like, for example, Afghanistan. You go to Afghanistan, their commitment over there was say 100,000. The Americans, we'd have 3,000-4,000, but we were put in certain positions that were strategic for them to use us and say, right, well, you know, potentially what takes us 100 blokes to do, you could probably do with 12. And your fucking mentality is just go, 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 go,
which
go.
is a good position to be in, that they see us as a specialist, but going into war as a support to someone else.
Yeah.
How does that fare if we're attacked? How can we rely on? Are the Americans going to back us up, for example, if say Russia invaded?
Yeah, so there is a thing there. There is a thing there called, and obviously I'm not spilling secrets.
Yeah.
It's common knowledge on the internet if you do your research. But there's a such thing called I-5. So I-5 is obviously us, the Americans, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. They're literally the only people where we share sensitive information with.
Okay.
And that's not me doing fucking NDAs or whatever else.
Yeah.
That's
Common knowledge.
Common knowledge if you look it up. So they're literally our closest of close. They're literally our first and foremost. They're our allies. Anything goes wrong, we're straight there. We help them out, blah, blah, blah.
Vice versa.
So the support's there, but the problem you've got is, like I say, there's no bolstering. You know, the army now are trying to put out campaigns to get troops, as they were, and no one wants to join. The money's not there anymore. The bonuses that I received are not there anymore. The career, even if you go into the infantry now, isn't what it was. You know, you're going in for a rough, tough experience. You want to be coming out, and man, you don't get that anymore. You know, you brought it up earlier that, you know, Josh has spoke to you about it. They've got a yellow and red card system.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, that might have only become prevalent to, you know, wider society now, but that's been going on for 10 odd years. It wasn't, I believe it wasn't in when I was getting trained. So when I was doing my 6 months, which is split down into 2 phases, basic, which is your first 12, and then phase 2, which is obviously what you specialise in. So mine would have been infantry skills. So, you know, basic, anyone joining does. Shit bust. So if you're 16 to 18, you'll go potentially Harrogate, or I can't remember the one down south. It will come to me. But there's one down south as well. So they're trained, depending on where you're from, they're trained that way. And you'll do a year there. So as a 16-year-old, potentially, don't quote me on a pay, but I think it's about £800 a month. As a 16-year-old, you will earn that. And you're getting taught basics. You're getting taught how to shave, how to shower, how to potentially cook in the field, how to iron your kit, how to present your kit, how to make your bed.
Plus you're getting a place
hospital
to live.
Corners, all that stuff. Plus, free accommodation.
Free accommodation.
That's the first thing that ever got said to me in the army when I
Yeah.
joined. Is like, you're in the army now, you'll always have a place to live.
Yeah.
Regardless if it's up to the standard that you think, you know, you're not living in the Ritz.
Still always got a
or-
roof over your head.
Exactly. So yeah, I can see the good sides to if that's how it was going to be implemented, but doing research, we know it's not. So the way that is it Richie or Rishi? I don't like this guy, so I don't even bother. He's such a tit. But yeah, basically what he's portraying is national service. Let's go, and it's not.
He's trying to do it as, we need some national pride.
Yeah,
It's got nothing to do with national pride.
Yeah.
You don't have to join the military to have some national pride. You should be proud.
Oh,
of where you are.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But that's how he's marketing it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if they took a more logical approach like myself
Yeah.
and said, okay, well, it's going to give you life skills, transferable life skills. So you come and join for 3 years and we'll send you out into the world with a career ahead of you, with life skills, with stuff that you can apply to any job, any industry. You're going to be able to communicate at all levels. You're going to be able to fend for yourself. You're going to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. You're going to understand the value of money. You're going to understand the value of hard work. You're going to understand what a hierarchy is. You say to a 16-year-old, what's a hierarchy? They don't know. They've probably never even heard that word. They don't understand it.
Yeah.
They don't know about a chain of command. They don't know anything to do with it.
Whereas obviously back in the day, you understood what hierarchy was.
Yeah.
Mum says clean dishes, clean dishes.
Well, you'd have it in school.
Yeah.
You'd have a hierarchy. You'd have your teacher.
Yeah.
You have a deputy head and you'd have a head.
Yeah.
You got in trouble, you get
yeah.
told off by a teacher. You got in trouble again,
Yeah.
well, you're going to see the deputy head. You got in some serious trouble,
Yeah.
you're seeing the head teacher.
Yeah.
There was an element of fear in each one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because that person at the top is the one that's the most authoritarian. I can't even speak today.
Authoritarian.
So you can't see either. Holds the most authority in that organisation.
Jimbros, we just chat shit.
Yeah. But do you know what I mean? It was like I'm sure in your time you've been hauled in front of their head teacher and you probably were like absolute shit in your pants and they would like proper shout at
Do you know what? No, I was never scared of teachers.
Yeah.
I was always scared of getting home.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
To your
Because I
mum.
knew I was, you know what I mean? I knew I was meeting it. But this is the thing, society's not like that anymore.
No.
And that's what's fucked it up. You know, you need hardship in your life.
Covered it last week, didn't we, on the last podcast when we were saying about the police. People don't have respect for the police and they don't see them as an authority anymore.
No.
They're so tied up by legislation and what they can and they cannot do that there's no fear from them.
No.
And I'm not saying we need to live in a fearful society, but our laws in this country are broken on a daily basis, even the most minute things. How many times do you drive down the road and there's cars parked on double yellow lines?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
How many times do you drive down the road and there's cars parked on the pavement? Every single day.
Yeah.
That might seem like something. How many people drive around with no tax, no insurance on their vehicles?
True.
They break the law. How many people speed every single day?
Yeah.
Everybody does. Everyone breaks laws every single day because there's actually no repercussion for it.
Yeah. because no one's there to enforce it.
No, that's what I mean. There
So
isn't.
it's not. It's a made up law, really.
Yeah, it's only a law if you get caught.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, it's only a crime if you get caught.
Yeah.
But yeah, the problem I've got with this national service is the idea is brilliant, but unfortunately, it's a generation muppet that's making it. If anything, he's making a mockery of it. Now, I don't expect kids that are 16 to join and go, "I'm British. I want to be in the British Army." I don't expect that, because that's not what it is.
That's not real. It's not.
You know what I mean? The pride you've got is instilled in you. Now, I didn't join the army going, "Oh, I want to join the army." I joined the army because, one, I wanted to stay fit. I wanted free gym. I wanted somewhere to live always. You know,
And you wanted to earn money.
I was a troubled kid at the end of the day, and I needed an outlet for my aggression. I needed someone to stand there and say, "You'll do this, you'll do that, you'll do that," and then me challenging that in my own head, and then go, "Well, actually, no, I've got self-control now. Like, I can literally switch." And obviously, you've seen it when I'm doing weights.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got that trigger now because that's been instilled into me, but it's been instilled with borderline, hate, aggression, all towards me that you wouldn't experience in civil.
No.
Like the things that happen to you in the military and training, when I was getting trained, and if not worse before I was in, lads that I've spoke to that are more senior to my time, that are like, 10 years in front of me in their serving time, I potentially would get a pay stick to the back of the head, which is just like a big long stick that they mark time with, and you're doing press ups and you stop doing press ups, whack, straight back of the head. That's gonna fucking hurt, mate. And you're like, you don't just go, "Oh, what the fuck, oh, I'll bang you out." It's like, he's a fucking man, mate, and he'll fucking end you. Do you know what I mean? You've got to think your sort of level is 18, 19, 20. You're a child.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Well, you're an adult, but obviously you're a young adult.
Yeah.
These are men.
These are hardened, trained,
Yeah,
skilled.
they've been to war, they've done this, they've done that, they've been shot at. And the fucked up thing is, they've been shot at and they've gone through that adrenaline dump. They've been, potentially blown up or near an IED going off, etc. And after, they just laugh about it because that's the way their brain is now. That's the way it works. That's
job,
the way
isn't
it
it?
deals with trauma, And you're going to get taught by this guy how to be like that. You're going through bayonet training and you're fucking hammered, mate, all day, all night, shit sleep, shit food, fucking fucked about all day, get here, get there, blah, 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 run to that tree, all that shit, to fucking, like, literally, like, you'll kill this fucker. That's how you feel. Yeah. And then now you're given a rifle, an SA-80, with a bayonet on the end, and say, "Right, charge that now." And you'll charge this dummy and you'll stab it, and it's like, "Stop." And it's like, "Oh shit." That's fucked up. But that's what you need to kill the enemy.
Learning mental toughness.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
And that's what you need
knowing when to turn it on and when to turn it off.
And that's what you need to fight an enemy, potentially. Now, obviously, we live in a time now where apparently these enemies don't exist anymore. And I get that. I get that we all want to sit there and say, the world's not like that anymore. Well, 60, 70 years ago, we were having world wars. So it can go like that again.
Yeah.
If your man over there, too far to the east, decides to get a little bit brave and flip that switch, China jump him, we're in a world war again. Yeah. And 2 years down the line, you're going to be looking at each other going, "How the fuck do we get here?" Well, I don't know. Let's ask Sam Smith. Let's see what he thinks about it. Let's see what another TikTok guy thinks about it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. The internet's gone down now.
Yeah.
Everything's been hacked by the Chinese. Guess what? What we're doing about it? Nothing. Because we haven't got influence anymore. We need an army. We need to be able to protect ourselves, what we believe in, our values, our standards. We need to protect our families. People think that the world's just always going to be this way, and it's not. It's forever changing. Use the past to shape the future.
Yeah,
that's how I see it. And
learn from historical mistakes.
Yeah, and I think this guy that's in power now is just making a mockery of it all. It's literally being portrayed as national service, but it's not. It's a youth club. Turn up once a month. It's not been set out what you'll actually have to do.
Yeah.
You're saying learn life skills. What life skills?
Yeah, what are you going to learn?
Potentially there'd be nothing there. It'd just be like, "Oh, nice one, cheers for turning up, guys," and that's it. So I just think it needs planning. I don't hold out any hope for it. I just think it's a campaign strike. But I think if you look at all these other countries, you like to Denmark, you like to Sweden.
Yeah, how many, just so people know, how many countries in the world now have mandatory
66.
66?
So there's 66 countries worldwide, okay? And there's 8 in Europe that are mandatory. And I guarantee you now, your likes of Denmark, your likes of Sweden, Turkey's another one.
Yeah.
Cyprus another one. National conscription. And they send their lads straight to the buffer zone. So they'll literally get these lads, 17, 18, 19, literally fucking couple of weeks training, boom, straight on a stag position. Stag on for 2 years, mate.
Well, I was, again, while doing research for this, I was looking at, like, you take Russia, for example. So Russia have a compulsory, so if you finish school and you're not going into further education, or you have a job or an apprenticeship, you in the military for 3 years minimum. They'll teach you everything you want to know, and then at the end of it, you have an automatic job in the police. You don't have to take that job, but it's there. So you go in, you do your 3 years, you learn all the skills, this, that, and the other, and then if at the end of it, you can stay in the military, you can come out, or if you want to go and join the police force, join the police force. One of the things I noticed when I was doing research, and I'm sure you found it as well, all the countries that do have national service have lower crime rates. There's a direct correlation between getting these youngsters off the streets and putting them into something constructive and positive, which is what the military potentially could be for people now. There's a direct correlation between a reduction in antisocial behaviour and that kind of thing. So on a number of levels, it does work, and I do believe it could work if
done right,
if it was applied correctly. But the problem that we have is it probably won't be applied correctly. What's your take on it? What do you think? Because you've obviously got youngsters and stuff, so this is something that might affect them.
Yeah, I think I don't see any negatives to national service. I think it's a really good thing. Obviously, the issue I have is it shouldn't be called national service what he's talking about, because it's disrespectful to people that actually did do national service, because it's not national service, is it? It's just an advertising campaign using that name. But if they did it properly, like, it's the best thing ever, isn't it? You know, sending 16-year-olds to learn how to live their life, to better themselves, to be good human beings, to strive to get better. No negatives, but if it's not mandatory, I don't see the point of it. You might as well just
going to choose it.
You can just join the army if you want to for 3 years, can't you? So it's not. What's the point? I think it's just been branded to, promote more for Rishi Sunak, and that's it.
Like I say, I think it's a good scheme if it was executed with the right attitude and applied some real world logic to it. But unfortunately, we live in a time where the majority of our people that are in charge of the country, the politicians, are not real people like us.
Genuinely.
They don't live in a real world like us. They live in a fabricated reality that they've sheltered themselves from. So they don't know, how normal people live, what's going on in the world really. And these are people that are supposed to be looking after our country, but
the donkeys, mate. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
It's lions led by donkeys.
But when I was a kid, it used to be, or when I was sort of 15, 16, joining the army was a real option. And actually, a lot of my mates went down that route, and it was appealing for a lot of reasons. It's not appealing anymore.
No, definitely not.
why has it become not appealing? Is it how it's been marketed? Is it the fact that our society is becoming a little bit more soft, a little bit more woke? What is the... Because I remember, I don't know even whether they still do it, but we used to have like a careers week, careers officer and stuff. And you'd sit down and they'd go for your grades and they'd talk about what they believe were the options available for you. And obviously certain people that would be said, oh, well, I think a good route for you would be to go into the military, go down this route, or join the Air Force or join the Navy or whatever. Because you're going to get X, Y, and Z. You're going to get paid, you're going to get trained, you're going to learn a skill. They were guided down that route. Does that still happen?
But I think the difference is now, think about that. I don't know if it does still happen. My kids are too young for me to know that yet. They've not got to that stage. But parents would encourage when I was a kid for you to join that if you wanted to. It was encouraged, even though it was a scary prospect for the parents. They still encouraged it
Because they see it as a good thing.
They see it as a good thing for their child to grow into a good human. Whereas now, I can't imagine many parents would encourage it.
No.
The ones that are out there now that we've talked about, I think there's a lot of parents, but no, you're not doing that. You're not joining that. That's the end of it.
I do believe, again, I mean, when I was talking to Josh, unfortunately, like I say, he couldn't be here today, but he did. We did have a long conversation about his thoughts, and I tried to portray what he was saying. And one of the things I was saying was with regards to, like, is it the fact that we now have a generation of youngsters that are growing up that become a product of their environment? So maybe their parents are on benefits or they don't work for whatever reason. So they're growing up and the people that they're looking to for guidance are the parents, and they're not really doing anything. They're sat around claiming benefits. So how do they develop any aspirations? I'm not saying that they're necessarily going to just settle.
Yeah.
But if your direct influence in your life is two parents that do nothing but sit at home and get for money, surely that must have an effect on you. Because I know that if you speak to a lot of successful people that come from that background, that's the driving force behind why they wanted to become successful.
Yeah.
I didn't want my life to be like that because we had hardships. Yeah. We struggled to make ends meet. I didn't want to struggle. I didn't want my family to struggle. That's what drove me forward. So if your environment can affect you that way, surely it would affect you in a negative. To some people, they would say, well, I don't have to do anything. My parents don't do anything. They sit around, they get money off, so I'll do the same.
But it goes full circle, doesn't it? It comes back to the government, because parents are now, they know that there's easy money out there. You have to do fuck all and you get easy money. So the kids know there's easy money. Yeah. So that's the difference, isn't it? The government have offered, there wasn't easy money 50 years ago.
Go, you up in sticks now, pack your family up and go to America and see what you get.
Yeah, nothing.
Straight on the plane back.
So that's why they've got more people, actually, the army is a great place to go to as a young kid to get some good money, good life experience, but young kids now know there's easier money out there to do fuck all.
But like I say, even if they come out of school and they don't do anything, they've never contributed to the system. As much as we hate the system, they've never contributed into it. So at least this way, if they went in for 3 years and they're getting paid, at least they would be contributing something. Even at the end of the 3 years, if they then decided, I'm going to come out and I don't really know what I want to do, I'm going to sit on my arse for a year. Okay, that's fair enough, because at least you've contributed. You've worked for 3 years, you've paid taxes, you've paid your national insurance for 3 years. Okay, you can have a year's breather while you figure shit out. Because you paid into it, you deserve it of that. You've done it. Yeah. Whereas now they don't have to do anything and they get given money. Yeah. Get what? I don't even know what job seekers is. Yeah. 80 odd quid a week.
We're not advocating that you need to get a career in the army. No. By any stretch. All we're saying is, national service done right, you will see a society change. Now, obviously, it can only affect now, sort of in the next few years, your 16 to 18-year-olds coming through. Your sort of 19 onwards now, they're pretty much fucked for me. I'd write them off, because they're just fucking... If you were to have a conversation with a 21-year-old person now, out of 100, I'd probably have a decent conversation with 5.
I think they've just got such an uphill struggle. Yeah. Everything is against them. Yeah. Cost of living is so high, wages are so low. How are they ever going to get a house? How are they ever going to get a mortgage?
I think the problem I've got, though, is I struggle with that mentality, because what you say then, you go one way or the other. And mine was low-income family, fatherless family. So it was literally mum, fucking 4 or 5 other fucking brothers and sisters. And it was like, you make it your own way, or guess what, mate? You're going to fucking sink with them. And that's not to say my mum hadn't done a good job, but it's like my mum still earns the same money she earned 20 years ago. Do you know what I mean? She's comfortable now getting by. She's had a kid. She's done a thing, and that's it. I was the first person in my family to own a fucking house. Yeah. And I did that through joining the army. In my head, I don't think I'd have done that any other way, because that was my only outlet. Yeah. I went through training. It's like, bro, you got to run. Easy. Right, you got to do press-ups. Easy. Yeah. Right, you got to run at that thing. Easy. Right, you've got to learn how to do a section attack. Easy. Do you know what I mean? These things that just like, the way that they teach you and the way that they break your brain down, they know how you learn.
Yeah.
It's been thought through by people. You know, when you sit there and you think, how the fuck have they come up with this shit? Somebody somewhere is that intelligent. They know how the brain works.
Yeah.
And even though there's a lot of crap that gets pushed through, this stuff actually works. You know, there's so many people out there. There's a brotherhood out there, really.
Yeah.
You could talk to anyone in the army now, and providing they've done certain ticks in the box, we all pretty much have the same sort of outlook. It's
Yeah.
very similar outlook. You know, might have different beliefs. Like I'm Labour, you're thinking. There's bigger things, but in terms of like your little nitty gritties,
Yeah,
we're all very. We're all pretty organised. We're all pretty.
Yeah, you've all come out as well-rounded individuals.
Exactly. Yeah.
You've gone through a system.
Yeah.
And you've been systematically trained.
Yeah.
This is how we're training you all.
Yeah.
We'll adapt little bits so that you
yeah.
learn and you learn and you learn.
Yeah.
But we're going to train you to this level. You're all going to get trained to that.
Yeah.
Regardless of how we get you there, you're going to get
yeah.
trained to that. And so you're the bare minimum. You're going to come out of the army, and you're going to tick all these boxes. All of you are. So that's what you've all got in common. You've all come out.
Yeah.
Well-rounded individuals.
Exactly, yeah.
You know about camaraderie, you know about teamwork, you know about leadership, you know how to take orders, you know how to follow orders, you know how to be proactive. I mean, we have it, I'm sure other companies must have it, but we've had it in the gym where people are not proactive in their job.
Yeah.
They will sit around and wait to be told what to do.
Yeah.
And they'll go and do it, that's fine, and there's going to be people like that, you know, and they're probably... You've probably encountered infantry like that.
Yeah.
They will never fall in. But stick a commanding officer in front of them.
Yeah.
You guys run over there, attack. Yeah, they go and do it. Right? Okay, come back now. Yeah, shoot that over there. Yeah, they'll do it. But they wouldn't proactively.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They don't have that proactivity about them.
Yeah. But the army gives you that. The army lets you. It gives you, in your brain, it gives you the chance of whether you, basically they train you in a certain way, whether you'll know straight away whether you're a leader or not.
Yeah.
Because you get put in certain scenarios, there's certain parts of training where it breaks you to a certain point where you're like, right, well, I think this way. And then they go, well, I think that way. Like there's 4 different types of how someone learns, you know, visual, physical, all these things. I haven't done it for that long, but, you know, there's different ways. And then you break it down, you go, holy shit. Yeah, actually, that is the way. I learn more physically. I learn more doing it with my hands. But some people would learn it more visually, watching it on a PowerPoint or having it in an email and breaking it down.
So I've always learned by watching. Like if I wanted you to teach me how to do something, I'd say, show me.
Yeah.
Show me how to do that on your phone. Show me. And then that's it. I've done it.
Yeah.
It'll stay there forever.
Yeah.
That's literally the way. But like I think if it was, I mean, like to wrap it up, we don't want to obviously waffle on. I would love to know what the viewers think, what their there's no right or wrong answer.
No, definitely not.
In this kind of thing, it's a discussion which is probably going to go on for months. People are going to talk about maybe even generations. You know, they're always kind of dangling this kind of national service, national pride sort of thing. Like I say, my opinion of, I think it has the potential to really influence and have a very positive effect on youngsters, which at the end of the day, they're our future for the development of the country and the world. It has the potential to be very influential and positive on their lives if it's applied in a logical and correct manner. But like you've stated, it probably won't be. It probably won't be applied in that way. There'll be some kind of soft start to it. And then it'll probably never come to anything to fruition.
Mental health and stuff like that, and it's definitely, like you say, it's got the potential to be the best thing ever to turn this country around. But unfortunately, I don't think it'll be implemented like everything else. Every policy, it's not implemented right. You know. As soon as the eyes are off it, it's like, 5 years later, what's happening with that? Well, nothing.
Took a eye off the ball.
That got fucked off ages ago. Okay.
On to something else now.
Yeah, but, you know, the country's getting to a state now where it needs to happen. Something like that needs to happen, or there's going to be, you know, potentially civil unrest, that sort of thing, because people have just had enough now of the way it's been ran. The government are absolutely tonk at what they do. They are shocking. There's no ifs, no buts. They lie on TV blatantly.
There's more information coming out about
Yeah.
COVID, how they lied, they've made stuff up. There's no scientific evidence
Yeah.
behind the
Well, it's not
claims
just
that they were
COVID, is it?
making.
It's little
But that's just
policies.
one example. That's
Yeah.
something that has affected, like, our generation, had a massive detrimental effect. Like 3 years of people's lives and now it's turning out that we've been lied to.
Yeah.
And they were just making stuff up as they were going along.
Yeah.
There's no actual policy. It wasn't even as bad. So if they can have such an effect on your life
Yeah.
and kind of lock us up, and you say, "Oh, we're kind of winging it. We made that up. We didn't know that. We just made that bit up." What else are they
they've
going to do?
destroyed every generation, haven't they? They've
Yeah.
destroyed the youth. You know, there's kids out there anywhere from really young, sort of your 5, 6-year-olds, all the way up to your 15-year-olds. They've all missed a massive chunk of socialising.
Yeah.
Your older generations, your sort of 60 plus, they sort of don't know what's real and what's not real anymore. You know, there's still people walking around with masks
Yeah,
on
there are, yeah.
because they're shitting themselves. And then you sort of your middle bracket, sort of your 30 to sort of almost 60, you know, potentially a lot of them have hit, you know, business closures,
Yeah.
you know, financially been ruined. So yeah, I think national service, as it were. Obviously, I'm like Tate. I don't like that.
The wording of
The
it.
wording of it. I think it's massively disrespectful. And not just that, you're pushing national pride
Yeah.
onto kids now that have got that much access to information. Some of them don't really give a shit where they're from.
No.
They're just like, oh, I'm a human being. So let's keep that to one side of, oh,
Yeah.
proud to be British and all that. Let's just concentrate on fucking sorting the country first.
Yeah,
and then
giving them
instill
some
maybe
real-
a bit of pride.
Let's get the youngsters some real world skills.
Yeah,
Let's turn
before
them into-
we
yeah.
start pushing that stuff
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's how I feel about it anyway.
Good. Well, thank you very much for viewing today's. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll do Josh's bit. And yeah, we would love to get some feedback on what you guys think of it.
Yeah.